Welcome to this video. So I'm going to show you in this video how to work this brim that I use in the Dino Boom hat. And this hat is knitted from the top down, and you end with a row of live stitches here, and we work the brim sideways this way using those live stitches. We attach having those stitches, that attachment on the inside of the hat, just to give a neater finish on the outside. So to work it, okay, so I made a little swatch here. This represents the stitches of the hat. So you have to imagine that this is the crown of the hat and a knitting down, and now I'm ready to attach the brim around the bottom. Now if I was going to work and continue working in the round, then you can see that this over here is the last stitch that I've worked, and I would then come round to the front here and I would carry on working, knitting round in a clockwise direction. So I'd knit this stitch and then keep going in this direction. Now because I want to attach the brim, I want to hide the join on the inside. So here I've got the stitches of the brim. I'll just cast on here, and we're going to attach them at right angles here. So I'm going to attach first of all to this stitch, and then as this knitting grows in this direction, we're going to keep going round and we're going to attach to the next stitch, and then knit another row, attach to the next stitch, and so on all the way around. So we're going to be working with this back needle. Now this technique is much easier if you are working with needles of the same size. So the hat is actually worked with needles that are slightly larger than the needles we're going to work with the brim. So if you work with circular needles, so you have an interchangeable set, this would be a really good time to change this back needle into the smaller needle. Or you could slip like the next set of stitches, say 10 stitches, 15 stitches, however many stitches you want to work with at a time, onto a DPN of the smaller size. Now it just happens that I've actually knit this, I've worked this with the same size needles that I'm going to use for the brim, so I'm going to skip that step, but I really recommend making sure that this back needle is the same size as the needle that you want to work the brim with. Okay, so we cast on stitches for the brim. Now this first row that we're going to work on the brim is a wrong side row. So this edge here, this first edge, this is going to be the visible edge, and this last stitch is the one that's going to attach to the hat. Now because this is a visible edge, I've written this as a slip stitch edge just to make that a bit neater, and we want to slip with the yarn at the back of the work, so the yarn on the wrong side. Remember, this is a wrong side row, so the yarn on the wrong side is the side that you can see. So we're going to slip this first stitch across like this, and then take the yarn to the back to knit. And I'm going to knit across to the last stitch. And now this stitch I want to join to my work. So to make sure that we're joining on the wrong side, I want to have the wrong side of the hat facing me. Now this first stitch, the easiest way to do that is just to slip it onto this needle, knit these together. So I'm just going to knit those two together like so. And I'm going to turn my work. Now because these needles, okay, the needle that's holding the stitches that I'm joining to and the needle that's holding the brim stitches, because they are the same size, either because you swapped out the circular needle or you slipped them onto DPNs, I can use this needle to knit back, which makes life a lot easier. So just sorting out my ends, we're going to knit back in the second colour. So let's get that joined up. Now these first few stitches, nothing is secured, all these ends are loose, so everything's going to stretch and move on you, but don't worry, it gets easier The more stitches you get attached, the more secure everything comes, the less twisty it gets on you. Okay, so we're just going to knit back. And turn everything. Okay, then I'm just going to repeat those 2 rows. So I'm going to slip with the yarn on the wrong side. Knit to the last stitch. And then I'm going to knit these 2 together. Turn everything. Swap my yarns over. Turn. Do that once more. I'm just going to keep going just to the end of this needle, so you can see how things start getting firmer as we go. So I just move this round. You can see this is where we started, up here. You can see, as we said, we join here, and then as the knitting's grown in this direction, we've taken in each stitch as we've gone. So the join is on the inside, which leaves a nice neat edge on the outside, and we have that, pull my needle out, that's not clever, and we have that nice slip stitch edge along here.